for those who are joining us newly, the class will be recorded, so please feel free to, there's respect of individuals here, first of all. Please feel free to express yourself. Unless, of course, you don't want your voice to be recorded, but I don't see any harm in that. It's just question and answer. There's no right or wrong question. There could be a stupid answer from me, only from me, but yeah, there's no right or wrong question. So feel free to ask question. We'll try to understand you and answer the question as best as I'll try and understand the question as best as I can.
Don't forget to introduce me as a class rep.
Oh, sorry, we have a place in the house in the name of Turayo. How do you want us to introduce you, Madam Turayo?
The class rep.
Class rep.
Class rep.
Okay. Thank you very much for letting us know you're in the house. So as you know, we have the class rep. We have the class rep and moderator and anyone you want to give her, she's ready to answer. So you're welcome. I can see Shay online. I hope Bimbo, I hope your system is working fine now. Hi Shay, you can see you. Welcome to class. Turayo, welcome. Lulu, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. So quickly, I'll share with us. Let me call it. Let me just drop it. There's no need to stop talking about it too much. I'll share with you two data sets, which is going to help us with the discussion for today, because today we'll be taking our Power BI discussion a step further. Okay, and today we'll be looking at this data first of all. Give me a second. So we have truck status, this live tracking status, and truck contract. They're all online, man. So the data I'm sharing with you today, so please feel free, download it. So I sent you two data sets in the Power BI group or Power BI channel. So feel free to download it. That's what we'll be discussing today. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen shortly. I'm assuming everyone is fine with that. So feel free to download it somewhere. You can drag it to your desktop and drag wherever you're fine to work with it. And as you already, if you have watched our previous classes, for those who have not been attending, and for those who have been attending as well, watch our previous classes, we have the Power BI guided learning, which is currently available at powerbi.microsoft.com. They have a Power BI guided learning, so just search for that online. That is the module we are using for this particular class. You search for Power BI guided learning. It helps you understand Power BI with or without a lecturer or teacher. There is actually someone, other guy on the other end of it from Power BI, from Microsoft himself, from Microsoft rather, who is teaching Power BI, and the guided learning is what we are using for this class. The module there is what we're using for this class. So today we'll be going to how to manage your data relationship and how to calculate, and if we're able to finish that on time, we'll not work on calculating, creating a calculated column. Okay, let me share my screen at this junction. So I'm assuming everyone has been able to download the data. True or false? I've been able to download the data, yes? Hello?
Not yet.
Not yet. Please download and let's get started. Share my screen in a bit. Share my screen. Can you see my screen? Can everyone see my screen? I'll need response, please. Can everyone see my screen?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay, Lulu, let us know when you do. All right, so the data we're working with today, while we try to, at least, Lulu, please let me know when you see my screen. But what we're working with today is to understand the data. Looking at this one right in front of us here is live tracking data of the trucks we have within the organization for a particular date and time, which we can see there. So this is this information right now. I don't think is the most recent one, but yeah, but this is at a particular point in time. This was the data generated, and it's giving us the movement status. Is this an old information? Is the truck stationary? That's not moving, or is it moving? So that is what we have under the movement status. We have the fleet number, which some of us regard as T number. We have the last position, date and time, where the information derived for this truck, the last position, date and time is written here. And I think in the last class we worked on how to separate this date from the time and this WAT here in Power BI. So we have the registration number, we have the location, and we have the GPS coordinates. Okay, and the second data set which we'll be working with today is our T number, our contract, and our truck type. Now, usually in the way data sometimes is stored, in this scenario, if you notice here, we have our fleet number, but we don't have, for instance, the contract where this truck is currently operating. Some of us can guess which contract these trucks might be running into, might be running. Some others may not be able to do that. Also, you may be able to tell that this is a rigid body, a tractor. Let me see the truck types we have here. The tractor or a rigid body. You might be able to guess, maybe looking at the T number, which one it is, but some of us may not be able to. So there are two ways. You can actually go in here and start updating a new column, typing in the T number, what contract is it, and so on and so forth. But when working with the data we have within the organization, and when we start working with large data, we have what we call relational databases. Okay, and what do we have? What do relational databases look like? Here I have what I need here. In this case, T number. In this order table, let me split my screen. In this order table, in this other file, I have T number, the contract, the tractor, the type of this T number. Where does this T number belong to? So is it this number that we know that T332, please, this is example in case any of this has changed, just for example. T332 is an ATK truck and is a tractor. T312 is an ATK truck, is a tractor. T561 is an OMP truck and is so on and so forth. Okay. Now, how do we bring this information from here in this table to this worksheet in Power BI? In Excel, I don't know if some of us have worked with that formula already. It's called the VLOOKUP. Well, in Power BI, it's called creating a relationship. Okay, how do we create a relationship within this data in this worksheet and this other data in this worksheet and get the information we want from it? Now let's go to Power BI. I'm assuming you have launched Power BI already. If you haven't, please open Power BI on your system. And if you haven't, or if you don't have Power BI on your system, please visit powerbi.com to download the latest version of Power BI and join us in this class. And just download the Excel file. I will go to get data, okay? I'm getting an Excel data in this case. Get data from Excel, and I'm going to import my first data set for today. It's currently on my desktop. I think it's currently in live tracking. Yes. So this is the first data I sent to you, this one. So I'm going to open it. If at any point in time you're not understanding what I'm doing, please feel free to call my attention. Now, at this stage, if you have watched if you don't understand what we just did right now, you can watch the previous 2 lessons. The videos are currently in this channel, and you understand what we are doing. We're trying to get data from an Excel file, which has been shared with you already. Okay, this live tracking information. We want to get it into Power BI to be able to run our analysis with it. Okay, I'm going to select the worksheet, which I need to work with, in this case, the asset. How do I know it's the asset? This is it down here in Excel. This is it down here. So I minimize again. It's going to give me a preview of what my data looks like. I said, okay, that's fine, but I want to work on it. I click on edit. So it takes me to what we call the query editor, or the Power Query editor. In this case, if you remember our discussion last week, we have our movement status as part of my data instead of forming my header in this data set. I want to tell Power BI, please, this movement status, fleet number, last position is actually the header for this data. Okay, and we call that promote. So I tell Power BI, use this first row as what? Header. Clicking on this option up here promotes this first row here as a header. Okay, now Power BI does its own magic within its system and moves that first row to become the header. Okay, now in the header I now have movements, last position, registration, location, and GPS coordinates. In this case, I can just call this live tracking info. Okay, I hit enter. Okay, I'm fine at this stage. This is fine. I can load this information to my report view, but no, I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to get the second information. Okay. Yes, let's get the other thing first. Now I go here, tell Excel I want to get something from a new source, and in this case from an Excel file. Now, if your source is not an Excel file, please feel free to use the source where your current data lies. In my own case, my source for this example, or for this lesson, or for this class is an Excel file. Okay, I want to go and get the second set of data I require for this class. Okay, in this case, I'm going to tell Excel, bring this for me from Excel. It's going to ask me what do I need. I tell it, bring in this time around the truck and contract. Okay, to run that, blah, blah, blah. It's going to show me, let's open truck and contract. Now look at truck and contract. In this Power BI setup, it's showing me 2 options. It's showing me number 1, a sheet 1 and a truck. When you see this icon in here with a blue bar at the top, Power BI is suggesting to you that in this Excel file, we have we have an Excel table in it. And I'm sure you understand the difference between a worksheet and a table in Excel. In this case, we have, let me just make a quick one. I go back here, I do, let me just do this for fun's sake, class, and you represent the class rep. So I say Power BI, and we have Surayo as the class rep. Okay, and we have Excel, and we say who is the class rep for the Excel class? Let's just say Lulu. Okay, now this is a worksheet, sheet 1. Okay, and I make this a table, highlight it, press Ctrl T, and I say my table has data, blah blah blah, and I say this is class and rep. I give that table a name. Now this is a worksheet in Excel, sheet 1, but it has a table called T number contract, and it has another table called class rep, all in the same sheet. Now you're going to tell Power BI what you want. Do you want this table, or do you want this table, or do you want everything in this sheet? Everything in this sheet, that is everything here, including this table, including this one, including anything you put down here, and so on and so forth. You want to tell Power BI what you want. In my own case, I want Power BI to give me information from this table only. Okay, how do I know? Let me cancel this. Let me save this. You don't have this in your own, and I'm going to show you what. Get this data again, truck number. Now notice what Power BI is going to give to me. Notice before now we had just T number contract and sheet 1. Oops. My screen. Can you still see my screen? Hello?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see the Power BI screen, because it doesn't show me that it's showing my screen. Okay.
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. Now, if you notice, this is still sheet 1. It carries everything. Now, notice what sheet 1 does. It gives me my T number, contract, truck type. It gives me blank columns, and now goes here. It gives me class rep. It gives me Power BI. See how it brings everything it sees inside here, and so on and so forth. We also now have truck T number and contract. That is this long table here. Okay, we also have this one, which is giving me just this one, this table here. Now you're going to tell Power BI what you want. Okay, that is the beauty of using tables inside of Excel and bringing it into Power BI. So you can have 10 tables inside the same worksheet, all right, and you can select the table you want to work with, okay, for organizing your data. Now in this case, I'm going to select the truck, T number, and contract. Sorry, it's currently going on, so just join online. Yes, you have the T number and contract, and if you notice how clean this table is, it's currently giving you a header, a contract, a truck type. And if I click OK here, see what happens. That's the beauty of using Excel tables and Power BI. It understands it as a table when it comes into Power BI because of that relationship between Excel and Power BI. Well, I think they're from the same mother, so it's fine. They understand each other. The blood is the same. So it understands that the T number I have at the top here is the header of this table. It does the same thing inside of Power BI without me doing that. It tells me that the contract here is a contract column. It tells me this is a what? Truck type column. In this case, I can rename this table and tell it, you know what, I don't like the name you're giving me. Just give me info. Okay? So I'm done in the query editor for this particular stage. All right? Now, let's take it a step further. Let's now define a relationship between these two guys, between these two set of data. I'll close and apply this. It's going to do all what it needs to do, bring the data in, and we can do our report from here. As I said before, we're working with how to manage your data relationships. And if you read all of this, this is what we are trying to do. Okay, we're trying to run data relationship, and this is very important when you're working with relational databases. Okay, like what we are trying to do right now. Now, as at our previous classes, we know that this data here, we can use it to do whatever we want. I can just drag status. Where is that status column? I can drag movement status in here. I can drag my fleet number in here, and I can count all of it. And it's going to give me how many trucks I have moving, how many trucks I have with old information, how many trucks I have stationary. I can do all of that stuff. You already know this, I'm assuming. So you can, if you don't know this, just quickly go to you can do that, review the previous lessons to understand. Now, this one is pretty straightforward. But now someone's going to tell me or ask me, what contracts do we have here? What contracts do we have this table? Which is a question at the top level, which many of us have to answer. Okay? Someone can ask you, for instance, even as a, how do I put it? Let's even use the Lafarge team. Which of your trucks are having these issues? For instance, you have old information, okay? And is it the old truck or is it the Actros that's having this? Which of them is having this issue the most? Okay, how do you get to know that if your data doesn't currently carry that information, but you have another table that has that information? That is where we go to this third option here in our report view called relationships. Relationships are actually very beautiful, as we know in real life. Okay, very beautiful things. Some of us have the testimony of what relationships can do, how one complements the other. Okay, now let's see how we can define relationship between live tracking data and the truck information data. Okay, what do these two data sets have in common? All right, let's bring them back to the fore. I take this guy here and I put this guy here. Now, fleet number we have in this. T number we have in here. I didn't even check we have duplicates here. Also, amount of what should my leg. Conditional formatting. If I don't have duplicates, please know that I don't want to have duplicates. Yes, I don't have duplicates. I don't have duplicates, so that's fine. Now, I have fleet number here, I have T number here. Okay, if you look at these two data sets, I need the T number, I need the fleet number to understand what T number here. Okay, to be able to give me the other information. I go back to Power BI, I say my fleet number should be linked to what? My T number. Trust me, you can just click and drag. Okay, but let me not spoil you with shortcuts so quickly. You can do that under what we call manage relationships. Okay, what we call manage relationships. Now, I can tell Power BI, you know what, automatically detect this, and let's even see what it does. It doesn't understand that there is a relationship between those two data sets. I don't blame it because the headers are actually different. Well, let's define it by ourselves. I can just do new. Okay, I want to create a relationship, and to in this case, let's match make. Okay, let's match make the both of them. So select the tables and the columns that are related. I'll tell Power BI my truck info table, and I select T number. Okay, selecting T number in this case highlights the T number column, and the live tracking info and its fleet number, they have a relationship. Okay, what I'm telling Power BI right now is the truck information table and the live tracking info T number column, they have a relationship on T number and fleet number column. Power BI tells you, okay, let's see what we can do with this. Now the cardinality is telling you how these two data sets are related. There are very many options here, and Power BI automatically understands them. Now, what do these mean? There is something called in our own case, our data set is one-to-many relationship. And what does one-to-many relationship mean? It's saying one set of this data is unique. Okay, the other set of this data could have this information repeated. All right, just like you have your loading information, for instance, in Lafarge or in any contract, basically, your truck information is always going to be the same. Your T551 is always going to have the same contract name. It's always going to be a tractor. It's always going to have the same registration number, which is going to be found in your truck information table. But when you go to your trip information, you will notice that T1, T551 loaded, day 2, T551 loaded again, day 3, T551 loaded. In that second table, if you're going to relate truck information table and that trip table, that is a one-to-many relationship, okay? Which we don't really advise in real life, you know. You shouldn't have more than one person you are related to, right? Apart, unless they are your friends. But that's not for discussion for today. So that is a one-to-many relationship. If we reverse this condition, if we turn this around, live tracking, this to this, it becomes what? A many-to-one relationship. Notice that changes here. Okay, because we just made this one the first table and this second table becomes a many-to-one relationship. You can already assume what a one-to-one relationship means. Okay, this is the situation of one man, one wife, right? Your information here is linked directly to this on a one-to-one basis. There is no repetition in any one of these tables. Okay, so many-to-many means this guy is repeated here, this guy is repeated here, which is not usually advisable. I'm very, very funny working with a many-to-many relationship. But yeah, it's a possibility in Power BI. Anyways, let's move on. That is what the cardinal means. Okay, and the cross filter direction means if I filter in one table, do I want it to affect the other table? If I filter in table 2, do I want it to affect the data in table 1? That is what this means. But let's leave that as single for now and click on OK. Power BI is locking that down, and I close this, and notice what happens. It keeps this line. Clicking on it is saying my fleet number is now linked to my T number. Okay, now with this information, I can do a lot more with my live tracking info. Okay, how do I do that? How do I know? Rather, let's bring our fleet number from live tracking info. Okay, our fleet number from live tracking info, I bring it in here, all the T numbers, and I bring contracts from truck info table and drag it in here, see what happens. For those that have contract, it gives me what? Their contracts. Do you notice that? Remember, the live tracking info never had contract information in it, and the truck table had T numbers. That's all. If you have the truck type here, are we together? Now, moving further, we can now use information from a different table. Instead of using that, let's look at the truck type that is having these different status. I can bring truck type here to my table, remove movement status, and see what happens. It tells me I have 225 tractors, 5 rigid bodies, which I think we all can agree with, and the other ones, it doesn't know which truck type they belong to, which means it has not been able to identify the T numbers. Okay, that's why we have contract blank here, truck type blank here. So T113 is not available in one of the tables, and in this time it's not available in the truck information table. How do I know that? Let's check truck info table and look for T113, and notice it is not found there. Okay, so that is how relationships work here in Power BI. Okay, you can use this to link. For instance, you want to get, let's say, you have loading information. I think we have someone from, okay, I see our class rep is one is one of those people who does this sometimes. So you have your driver ID, okay, and the day he moved on a particular trip, but you don't have his name, or you want to know the dates this guy was employed. That information is currently not available for you on your trip table, but you want to use this information to make an informed decision. What you do is you look for where you have your driver information, okay? You can source that from who now? HR maybe. Then get that information, link the driver ID with the driver ID in your trip information table, and this creates a one-to-many or many-to-one relationship. Then you start picking the information you want from the other table. Okay, so that is relationships in Excel, sorry, in Power BI. If you scroll down, you see a lot more of that. Let's even, what can we do again at this stage? We can bring in the location of this truck here. Okay, and bring in the location of this truck. We can now see, oh, T104, a PZ tractor is currently at Forte filling station. Now, this is we try to make sense of the data we have. Okay, T114, a Pladis truck, a tractor is at Sele Yard. Nah, that is obviously not going to be possible any longer, but yeah, at Sele Yard workshop. C113, we don't know who this guy is, but it's currently at half print, and so on and so forth. So that is how to run a relationship between your data sets. Okay, let's even make a contract information report. Let's bring contracts. Okay, and let's count how many trucks we have in here. Okay. Let me see. And just bring how many trucks we have on live tracking. It's going to give me all the list, but you know what we need to do? Just change this guy to count the extinct, and it's going to tell me, okay, one more AGO trucks, there are 3 ATK, that CNG, that LPG, that, and so on and so forth. You can even use your matrix table as we discussed last week to break this further. To let's change it to the matrix table here. We can break this further by what now? By the movement status. Let's bring the movement status to the column and see what happens. So it's telling me I have AGO trucks. I have one with old information. I want to start looking at why this guy is having old information. I have 2 stationary. I have 22 ATK trucks in total. 7 of them are moving. For those who do FMR reports, this can actually be a good way to run your FMR reports if you have your data coming the way you want it to be. And this can, well, it doesn't have to be FMR anyways, but you use it, your use case is obviously different. You use it the way it comes for you. In this case, we have 7 ATK trucks moving, 3 with old information, and 12 stationary. And if I want to even see what are these 3 ATK trucks that are with old information, maybe I want to call the drivers, I can click on this one and see what happens. It filters this truck information up here and gives me, oh, T312 ATK tractor is currently at Omoekate, Ikare, wherever that is, man. And one in Ikole Ekiti, one in Seleya. Okay. Can go to my OMP. If I click on the OMP here, that's actually the beauty of using Power BI. Clicking on something, it makes it interactive. It helps you filter through things when you want to. Clicking on OMP, for instance, it filters out all OMP trucks. If I click on the one stationary, for instance, it gives me just the trucks that are stationary. Okay, if I click on LPG trucks with old information, it gives me just LPG trucks with old information. So it's completely up to you to decide how you want your data to be presented, how you want people to interact with the data you are presenting. Okay, reports can even be generated, charts can be generated even from these things we have here. Let's see, what can we generate from here? What can we generate from here? Let's try and turn this to a chart. I copy this table, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, makes a duplicate of that. I don't think Ctrl D works yet. Ctrl D doesn't work in Power BI yet. Okay, changing this to a chart. Let's see what this will look like. It gives me all stationary trucks and contracts. No, I don't like how that looks. Let me use this. No, okay. Power BI has this option of drilling down, so I can right click and drill up. It gives me all contracts. I can expand to the next level. This is not beautiful at all. Drill up. So if I want to see for Unisem what is currently happening, I can right click on Unisem and say drill down, and it's going to give me, oh, I have this number of trucks stationary, I have this number of trucks with old information. I can right click again and say drill up. That's the interactivity Power BI gives to you. I can right click on ATK and say drill down, and I say, oh, I have this number of trucks stationary, I have this number of trucks moving, I have this number of trucks with old information. I can right click and drill up. Okay, so that is for that one. That is how we use relationships in Power BI. Okay, so it's not completely left to you to determine how you want your relationship to go in real life. Okay, now moving up. Sorry, if you have any questions at this point, please feel free to ask before we take on the next task. Sorry? No, I'm not alone. We're not alone. If you have any questions at this point, please feel free to ask. Have you been able to practice this at your own end? For everyone online, have you been able to practice this online? Have you been able to practice it with the data provided? Please answer me. I would love to have a response. Motura is downstairs. Lulu, I can see Funke online. Funke, you're welcome. Bimbo, I can see you too. Have you been able to practice this at your own end?
No.
Okay, so I'm assuming you will do that after now. Okay, all right. So actually, just like Excel, just like we already know, practice makes perfect. And one of the things about Power BI is if you don't use it, sorry, it's just going to be information Emmanuel has, and it may never get to you. So practice it, get stuck, find solution, move on, and learn from it. Okay, moving on. We are going to now deal with the next few minutes we have. I'm now going to deal with what we call calculated columns in Power BI. Okay, calculated columns. And I think we already have a typical scenario of calculated columns here, which we can play with. Let's see if we can do that. Let's go to our data view. Click here, take it to your data view. This shows you your data, just like as if you're in Excel. Data. Calculator come in handy when you need to check row by row some criteria. You want to pass row by row the criteria, a certain set of criteria to deliver a result. Okay. In my own case, I want to first get, this is the data I brought in from Excel. This is how it is for my live tracking information. But now I want to bring in, let's use up here, you on your home tab, you'll find what we call a new column. Okay, clicking on a new column. Okay. Now, creating a new column in Power BI is as simple as telling Power BI, this is the name of the column I want, equal to, then define whatever you want. That's all. Okay. So in my own case, I want to call it contract equal to, and introduce it. Let me call it DAX function. Okay. In Excel, we have what we call the Excel functions. In Power BI, we have what we call DAX, DAX, DAX. There are quite a number of them. Some of them seem to take learning from Excel, but there are actually some that do a lot more stuff than what we do in Excel. But DAX functions, yeah. Introduce it to DAX functions today. DAX, that's what they're called. Now, there are a lot of them, just like in Excel. If you type your equal to, it gives you a series of functions you can call. In my own case, I want to introduce you to your first DAX function for today, related. Related. Remember, we use the relationship here to create a connection between your fleet number and the T number in your truck information table. I want to call the contract from truck info table. I'm going to use the related function to do that. Okay, selecting the related function, just like a typical Excel, is going to create, open the bracket. Now it's asking me, because I've created the relationship between live tracking and this, it's telling me, okay, what do you want from this relationship? Okay, fine. I want a mutual, beneficial, whatever it says, but give me contract. I select contract. Selecting can just be clicking on it or pressing the tab key, all right, and closing the bracket and see what happens. There we go with our first calculated column in Power BI. Now notice what happens. This is in your data view. This is not in your report. Your report, we've already done some fantastic stuff here, which requires you to arrange, but this is just your data. Okay, you have introduced a new column from another table inside this, and is giving you a contract column, line by line. Okay, what has this done? The related has gone 352 in this truck information table. What is your contract? It returns LPG. 659 in truck information table. What is it? Oh, you don't have any, blank. 159 in truck info table. What is your contract? It returns that. Okay, this is you in case you want to build a very large single data source for all your reports. You can use your related function to keep creating related information from other tables, bring it into the main table. That use case is completely up to you. Now I can bring in the truck type. No, I'm not interested in the truck type. Let's create another condition, another column inside of Power BI. Now, I want this column to be dependent on one of the information we have in here. Let's say, for instance, the contracts that don't have any value, I want Power BI to give me in another name. Okay, let's see how that works. I'll just call that contract 2. I create a new column inside the same table, and we're creating a calculated column. I'll just call that contract 2. You can't have two columns with the same name. Power BI is a bit picky. It follows a particular set of rules, so you can't have the same column names. Okay, space alone is enough to differentiate two columns. Okay, a dash alone is enough to differentiate two columns. So it's completely up to you how you want to run it.
Can you help us?
How you want to run it.
Is it a child? I know it's a child that tell him like you shouldn't help us. But you have to help us. I've called.
Okay.
We have some external guys.
When are you starting a meeting?
I'll bring them in 5 minutes. I will not disturb you. I'll just carry your system like this.
Sorry, I'll join you guys shortly, please.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, sorry for the interruption. So I'm back. Sorry about that. Now, we want to create, as we said, a conditional column 2. This time around is meant to check our current contract column to know if we have a blank and return it instead of giving us blank, we want it to give us some fantastic. Let's find, we'll figure out what it's going to give us. So in this case, I'm going to tell Power BI, you know what, this column. Okay, I forgot to mention, when you create a new column in Power BI, notice this contract column was not there before. It comes up as a new field in Power BI, and that's in the table where you created it. Now we want to create a new one. We'll tell Power BI, come on, don't give me an error. Be nice. Okay. Contract 2 will now be equal to, there's no one here, there's one over there. Contract 2 will now be equal to, how do we do this now? We currently use the if function. The if function works just the same way some of us use it in Excel today. If, okay, contract, see how interactive it is. It kind of suggests some things to you. If contract, okay, now I'm going to make it is blank. If is blank, I'm trying to test if the contract column is blank. Okay, if it's blank, contract. Let me remove the if. Sorry, I want to show you what is blank does. For those who don't use is blank yet, is blank is a throws out a true or false statement for whatever you want to test. So let's first of all test if our contract column has blank or this row has a blank value in contract. So if this is what, if contract is blank, and let's press enter, let's see what it gives me. Notice what happens for the ones that are true. Notice this, because this is blank, this is blank, this is blank, this is blank. That's why. Then the unison here gives me false, this gives me false. If you scroll down, it's like that to the end. Because this is not blank, it's giving me what? False. And you know what happens inside of if statements as we use it in Excel, or if right now in Power BI, it's currently, if this is true, then do this. If it is false, then do this other thing. It's the same principle, okay? So I'm just going to append an if to the beginning of this, okay? If, and the way it works is your logical test in this case is going to be all of this. If this is blank, if it is true, okay? Tell me, when it's blank, what should we do? We should return no contract. Okay, see what I did there? I returned no contract because the text, I returned it in what? Parentheses. Okay, with the quotation marks. That's parentheses or quotation marks. With the quotation marks, because it's a text. If it's a number, I don't need to use the quotation mark. Comma. If it is false, see your logic, see what happens with your if. If the logical test, which is blank, if it is true, then give me what? No contract. If it is false, then what should we give me? Return the contract that was there initially. Okay, how do I return it? I can return it by saying return what? Contract. Okay, please notice what is happening. Whenever I type the column, it's giving me option, and in this case, this live tracking info contract column is coming up as a suggestion because I'm currently working in the live tracking table. If I select live tracking contract and close this, see what happens. In that same contract 2 column, Power BI runs this formula, blah blah blah. Now, for the ones that are blank, gives me no contract. For the ones that have contract, it returns them as their original values. Okay, so that is running the basic if formula inside of your Power BI. Okay, and if for those who use this in Excel, you notice that it's somewhat similar to what you do in Excel, but this is you running it again inside of Power BI. Now that we have created a calculated column, we can now go to our report. Remember, we did contract here, and we had contract that doesn't have a name here. We can tell Power BI, you know what? Don't worry, don't give me blank, because a lot of people are going to ask me why is it blank. I remove this, and I'm going to return contract 2. Contract 2. Okay. Now notice what happens. AGO, whatever. Now it's going to give me no contract for the ones that don't have what contracts. Okay, do you get? So that is the way. That is the way using your conditional functions or conditional column inside of Power BI works. Give me 2 minutes. I'll move. That's the way using your conditional columns inside of Power BI works. So this can now be used to correct your other views. Like in this case, the contract here is currently giving me blank. I tell Power BI, no, don't make it blank any longer. Give me my contract too, and we're good. It tells me no contract. Okay. So, any questions at this point? I can't hear any question from anybody. Any questions at this point, please? Any question at this point? All right. So what the simple assignment for today would be is, with the data currently provided, kindly do a simple report. This report is not what I'm asking. This is not from my own point of view. From your own point of view, do a simple report with 2 or 3 views inside a file and share. I would say, should that be a gift for the first person? Class captain, should that be a present for whoever delivers? I think I would really want to decide that. So for whoever is able to give me a good report, I think maybe I'll have something for the person by the next class. So, but that is the base, that is relationship and creating a calculated column inside of Power BI. Any questions at this point? Any questions you have at this point, either from your usage of Power BI so far or even up to this particular extent? Any questions? Any questions? I still have a full class online. Any questions at this point? Okay, so in the absence of question, then I think I'll leave you with what we've learned so far today. So please kindly send in your I don't like calling assignments. Kindly send in your practice work. With the data provided, please make a 1-page report and share with me, and let's have a discussion afterwards. Okay? Kindly make a 1-page report. I'll leave that as a message inside of the team, and kindly make a 1-page report and share. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Something I would like to share with you concerning this team to be more effective is, if you go to your team, okay, if you want notifications whenever something new comes up inside any of the topics you are interested in, for instance, you are currently interested in Power BI and you want notification whenever something new comes up in Power BI in this channel, all you need to do is come here, select these 3 options here, and click on what? The favorite. If you favorite a channel, you get notifications for that particular channel, which means I am interested in whatever happens in this particular channel. And you may want to do that so that you don't get behind with news updates and so on and so forth that will be shared within this particular channel. Thank you very much, everyone, and Have a wonderful weekend.
And you too, our teacher.
Thank you, Babani.
Thank you very much. We're counting on you guys to practice what we learned.
Have a great weekend.
We will, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would love you guys practicing this though. Please. Beg of you. Yeah.